Hey everybody, so it is October. What's going on in the housing market? So right now we have seen interest rates creep up a little bit. Nothing crazy, about a quarter of a point. They're floating between that 6.25 and 6.5 general right now. We are expecting things to kind of stay neutral until the election a few weeks away. We've seen a little bit more inventory come on in the last 30 days, so that's been nice. But we also have seen those properties go highest and best on a lot of them because there still is lower inventory than what we need today. So Ralph McLaughlin from senior economist at Realtor.com said, we expect the economy to land softly and housing inventory to continue to recover. This should put downward pressure on mortgage rates this fall and winter and will set the stage for a much better season for home buyers in 2025. So the economists are thinking we're going to have a soft landing coming into the 2025 year, which will make interest rates come down a little bit more, which will kind of help boost some more buying power of people out there. Remember, in a lot of other parts of the country, we are seeing some weakening happening already, where in our area, knock on wood, we still have pretty strong demand. 2025 rate projections, I think we're looking at an average probably about 6%, give or take, for the next quarter. And then easing in, they're thinking by the end of 2025, maybe like a 5.68, 5.75, something like that towards the end of next year, which, very much may be potential depending on what happens overall in the economy. But the good news is they are expecting them to come down. And I think the realistic news is they're not saying it's going to be 5% by the end of next year, which I don't think would be realistic. So that's a good thing. Over 1/3 of homeowners would be motivated to move with rates under 6%. Absolutely. One of the biggest things why people haven't made a move, and you've seen this low inventory number, is it's cheaper to stay in the house you want, even if you can afford more. It just doesn't make sense for the trade up or trade down in a lot of areas because the price increases even if you don't have a mortgage. So as rates come down lower and that spread shrinks between what somebody has on their mortgage versus what they can get on a new property, we'll see more and more inventory come on top of those life factors that eventually will change. Average lifespan in a home is about 7 years. I think we're coming into about 4 to 5 years of this low interest rates from when it started. So we'll continue to watch that as it progresses. This is actually a pretty important thing here. Total home sales forecast to rise. In 2019, we had about 6 million home sales in the U.S. Last year, we did 4.8 million. So we were down about 20% from not even the peak. The peak in 2021 was 6.9 million home sales. At this current pace, we're supposed to hit 4.7 million in the U.S., which kind of makes sense where we are. We're a little bit less than last year as far as inventory. I think our number is probably, maybe a 5%, maybe 10% less overall. And hopefully, that we'll see that kind of tick upward a little bit. But I do think the low inventory environment is here to stay for a little bit. They are expecting nationally for 2025 to be at 5.4 million homes sold. I think if we get to that number next year, I think that will do really well, and that will kind of level out the economy, especially if we are seeing rates somewhere in the mid fives to upper fives. So hopefully that will continue. We'll watch that for sure. So Business Insider put out, waiting until next spring or summer should also give you more inventory to choose from, but you'll likely be up against greater competition since it's the peak buying season. This is an important fact that I think is really important that people have to take into account for things. When do you time the market? You never can. You can never catch the falling knife. You can only see it once it's hit. So, right now I tell people, listen, if now is the right time for you to buy, it makes sense for you and your family and you can afford it, yeah, buy the property. If you're going to be in and out of here in a year, maybe that's a different conversation. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Even in an upward economy, buying and selling a property within the next, 1 year time frame doesn't, because of closing costs. We may see lower interest rates, which means it will be a little bit less. But if we have lower interest rates, in theory, prices will go up, and you'll be paying more for the property. So it's what makes sense for you now. And at some point, either you'll refinance or we'll just balance out into the normal payment for you. So when we look at where price is going, for 2025, the average is probably about 2.5 to 3% growth. Actually it's coming in at 2.6 between all the economists. That's a national level. I'd say for us here, we're probably going to be anywhere from 2.5 to 5% growth next year, depending on what interest rates overall do. I do think that once they get to maybe around that 5%, I do think we plateau a little bit. And like we said, I don't think it's going to happen next year, but, maybe another year or two down the road. Selma Hepp, chief economist, CoreLogic, said, currently economic projections for 2025 are also positive, which points to a positive outlook for the housing market. I think that's one of the big important factors we're gonna have to watch. What's going on with jobs? What's going on with the economy? Any recession, soft landing. Are we robust? What's going on with it? So we'll watch it. Expect a little bit of quietness as the election come in and the holidays. But overall, things are still moving. People are putting their homes on the market. Buyers are still buying. It's a good time to transact in our local market. Any questions? Feel free to reach out, DM me, give me a call, shoot me a text, whatever it is. Happy to go over things with you.